Emotions are running high.
Mm.
We're all very angry. We are all very concerned. We all feel completely worn out. You know what? You have the right to feel whatever you want to feel. Whatever you feel, A-OK. There is no right. There is no wrong. There is no one answer. Welcome to the Vin and Phil show here. Jets 55. Here we are, right? No,
Hi, baby.
again, I wanted to get it straight fast because everything is spinning out of control right now. And it's really serious, but this is what it means. You stick with it. It sucks, but we're here to talk about it. I'm out here on the West Coast. Vinny is on the East Coast, of course. But what the reason I want to start that out is that we all know how depressing this is right now. It's really been a year amongst years that you can't even, people say the cliches, you can't even make this stuff up. You can't even write it. We could have said that with the butt phone. We could have said hundreds of times over. The fake spike, all of that. This, I don't mean the fail, man, whatever you want to call it. I just mean this year. It was way too much because the expectation, the buy-in was so big. So whatever you're feeling out there, it's good. No one's going to tell you you're wrong. So with that, let's open it up. We got the big Vin man here. The main thing is a lot of stuff is on the table. A lot of possibilities, not only for the rest of this year, but for the future and the organization. That's what we want to talk about today. Not just the one
Right.
dimensional answer. Let's talk
Yeah.
about everything. So, Vinny, you're
I,
up.
yeah. I just, 4-3 seems a lifetime ago. And, last year I said in the Pittsburgh game, Zach drove him down twice in the fourth quarter for touchdowns to win the game. These two touchdowns, and the final one obviously won the game. And I said the kid has made it. And then, we know what happened. Just horrible. And then, we have this foundation. I think what's more upsetting to Jet fans than anything is that we have such a great foundation. I think we have a really good coaches. I think we have great scouts. I think we have a really good GM, and it's a great foundation, but it all comes down, no matter how good all these organizations are, it all comes down to the kind of quarterback you had. So now, coming into this year, I did not want Zach. I did not want Zach. I did not want Zach. And the next thing I know, Kansas City game, wow, kid played really well. Could have won the game. All right, that's weird. Denver, he played really well. A lot of penalties, not his fault. They could have even scored more, right? Eagles, kid played really well. And now 3 in a row. In fact, I remember in the Eagle game, remember I told you he got hit hard and he was kind of slow getting up. And I'm like, like I never thought in a million years I'd feel like that. And
Yeah.
then you get the Giant game. Listen, it was raining. The line was horrible. It was bad conditions. It was this, that, the other thing. But he came through, and a lot of luck, and they wound up winning the game. I'm like, great. And now it's on. Every time it seems like it's on the table for us, right? Right, bud. It's always on the table for us. It was on the table with Favre, and he never told anybody his arm was hurt. It was on the table with Mangini. Oh, they're going to finish off strong. And everybody was in the bandwagon. And here we are. No, there's no easy game. But, the next three, you're gonna win. We want to win at least one of those. Okay, at least one, right? You figure Miami's going to be tough even at home, but you want to win one. We should win two. Okay, we came away with nothing. Here's the thing is, though, we wanted to be at some point 7-6, right, bud? We wanted to be 7-6.
Yeah.
We're not going to be 7-6, and then the dream is Rodgers comes back. I want to keep fighting. Be 6-7. Win these next two at home.
Yeah. Right.
But other than that, I don't know what happened. I really thought Zach had
Well,
made it, and it just breaks my heart that he didn't.
well,
But
would you
it's
say?
over. And listen, last thing for me, elephant in the room. I'm always going to bring it up, and every Jets fan I know will feel the same way. I brought it up a million times. I'm going to bring it up again. And at the end of last year, I said, okay, why don't you put all the effort you're putting into Zach, into Mike White, get him 10 pounds heavier, get him a little bit stronger, get him more durable.
He could
Okay,
absorb the blows and become a good quarterback. Right? Yeah,
we need to work with that guy.
he
Cause
had
if they had
potential.
done that and Zach was gone, and it breaks my heart that I thought he had arrived again and he didn't, and which is frustrating. But if they had done that, all Jet fans out there, come on. When Rodgers got hurt, it would have been like, oh man, but it wouldn't have been to the level. It wouldn't have been to the level it was. If Mike White came in as a backup,
Exactly.
we'd all
No.
still feeling pretty good. I'm sorry.
What you're saying is promises
Yeah,
made were
yeah,
promises that were never delivered with this team. They make the promises and it's never delivered, not for lack of trying, but it's because of circumstance and it's also because of bad personnel choices too. It's not like they want to lose, you know. I don't think so. And you're right. Last year, he showed a couple of glimpses that, all right, maybe he'll do it, but he's done it a couple of times and taken those steps back so badly that this year should have been no issue if he was truly going to be the guy. So what you're saying is they knew at the end of last year that he was not going to be in the same role this year, right? They knew he was going to be something lesser than what he is, or they would have never gone to Mike White, right? So why the hell didn't they keep White? Why didn't they keep George Fant for that matter? I don't want to get into that yet, right? But this is where we start to get into the weeds with who stays, who goes, the GM. You know, but think about this for a minute. You're right. We thought he overcame that curve where I always said BYU is not a real school. Sorry, guys, it's not for quarterbacks. You know, if you're some other kind of
competition, not real competition.
Give me a break. Go to Clemson. Anyway. After 2 years, maybe the guy was starting to learn. He's a solid kid. And he works hard, whatever. But you know, they blew out LaFleur at the end of the year. Originally, the fucking quarterback coach died. So that's horrible. You know, guy died. But you know, that's something. Who knows? This kid needed somebody special to take him under his wing because he was not yet ready for the NFL. He wasn't. And they threw him right in because they had nobody. But you know what? You're right. They did have somebody. They had Mike White there. So they blew it in a lot of ways.
Well,
So
let's say I want to say about the quarterbacks is that Joe Douglas, they've done 400 things, and 390 of them have been great. A few of them not great, a little iffy, but mostly everything they do really is really good. But the most important thing, they got it totally wrong, and that fucked up all the 390 things they did right. See, that's what it does. When you mess up on the quarterback portion of it, which is the most important part, when you mess up on that part of it, everything else gets damaged. It's like friendly fire. Everybody else gets hit.
well,
Aaron Rodgers said it. Listen, you know, yeah, people saying this about the Jets. They're beating them up. I get it. You know, we sort of the Hail Mary. Yeah, blah, blah. We've been through this so many times. But the whole thing is like Aaron Rodgers says, well, you know, maybe he's kind of was saying if he didn't get hurt, they wouldn't be talking about the Jets like they are now. You know, I don't think he was trying to be pompous.
Aaron Rodgers should shut the hell up because Aaron Rodgers is with us for 5 minutes and he might not come back and I don't care anymore. That's like I said at the beginning, however you want to feel, it's okay. And one answer for me is goodbye. Now, I don't care about Aaron Rodgers anymore because he is not a Jet. We are the Jets. For 57 years, this guy, right, 56 years, was not with us. He's with us 5 seconds. JD, even Woody Johnson. Maybe Woody Johnson was a fan as a kid. Maybe, yeah. Maybe he's a Jet for life. He owns the team too. But, you know, we don't own the team. We should, you know. But anyway, think about it. Gives a shit what he has to say about the Jets. He doesn't know what he's talking about us. Don't tell us anything. You have no fucking right to tell us anything. I don't care who you are, what you've done. You were in Green Bay winning MVPs and feeling superior, getting it done, getting in, winning a Super Bowl, losing a Super, whatever. You had greatness. We had nothing. We had 2 championship games that we lost in a row, and that was the high of our last 30 friggin' years. So shut up. Don't want to hear it. Don't care what he says with McAfee. I don't watch. I don't fucking care anymore. He could leave tomorrow. That's one way. The other way is now I'm going to be a split personality. He's right. We got to calm down. He knows what he's talking about. He's here. He's going to be with us. It's going to be next year. He'll get healthy. We'll win the Super Bowl. Stop. Relax. It's okay, guys. Don't worry. It's just a game. We'll get it right. We've had some bad breaks as a team, but we have to stay together. You guys don't understand. You're out there in the fan land. Our locker room is a special place. Everybody loves each other. Love the bros, the guys. We're an awesome, Hackett. He's my brother. I love him. I mean, you could say that too. This is what I mean about this. It could go in any tentacle. Right, but you know what? I want to say one other thing before you go. You and I, years ago, we used to talk about Brady. Is it Brady or is it Belichick? Is it Brady? In the beginning, I was more in the Belichick camp, and you were in the Brady camp. And we got hot a few times over it. And I'm like, is it not 100 years ago, And then I got to thinking, probably about 10 years ago, this fucking guy, it's Brady. It really is Brady. And that's okay. You can't keep winning. It's like, and Belichick, good defensive coach, right? And look at it now. And a long time ago, when he went to Tampa Bay and friggin' won, he's the best ever. There's just no doubt about it now. I used to, number one. Now, think about it. Tom Brady left the Patriots. He was 32-18. I looked it up with Tampa Bay. 32-18. Won a Super Bowl, right? Belichick to today is 27-34. Why? Because he doesn't have Tom Brady. He doesn't have a quarterback that's high level. If you have a shitty average quarterback like a Zach Wilson, like a Mac Jones, it's not going to work. You need that extra level quarterback to be successful in the NFL today because it's designed for the quarterbacks to do well. Like I've said 100 times, that's what it's all about right now. So if you don't have a great offensive line, it's only part of it. You have to, Brady will get rid of the ball like that. He'd come up to the line and they had 6 plays that they were going to run. He read it fast, boom. And if he saw something he didn't like, he would change out of it fast and snap the ball. There's no chance for anybody to, like now it's like, Max Vernez, and then they go back. They come out. That's like 26, 25 for the play clock, 23. It's like they take the whole 30 seconds to hand the ball off to Breece Hall for fucking 1 yard. What did you do? You changed out of something for nothing. Brady would have been done. Boom. Over. So you don't have a quarterback. Most teams don't have that level quarterback that can do it that fast. Look at Jordan Love. He's looking a little better, though. You got Trevor Lawrence a little bit better. You got to be able to be capable of that. Like Mahomes, you change it in space, you figure it out. But you have to be able. You have to be gifted, and you have to
right. But and the Brady thing for me is that's for everybody. What happened to the Colts? The Colt culture was great, and Peyton Manning leaves. He wasn't good. They were terrible. And then they got
Denver sucked, and he goes there and they win.
And then and then they get luck, and they do pretty good. And then he got so beat up physically, he couldn't even have a true career. They're doing pretty decent today, Pittsburgh. I mean, I think the Steelers are living on borrowed time. But since Roethlisberger has been gone, what's been their situation? He's a great coach, not really doing much. So the Bengals.
Only a couple of years there, and they're coming along, and that's a sore spot with me because Roderick Jones, the guy that he didn't want, starting right tackle, he's going to be there for good. He's good. So
you know what? But okay, so I know what you're saying, but okay, if he was our right tackle, who knows if he was hurt out for the season on this horrible.
Like the Brickashaw guy. You get that. You got hopefully.
Okay, all right, so nothing changes though. Nothing changes. Exactly.
They didn't have that beautiful offensive line when Sanchez was there. So I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But this quarterback thing is every team's need. So the whole thing, I think what even frustrates fans more is we didn't need an elite quarterback to be a playoff caliber team. We didn't need a great quarterback to be a caliber playoff team. We didn't even need a very good quarterback. We needed just a good quarterback.
Right.
They totally messed up the Jets, and they waited too long. And this thing with Zach went way too long. And here's the thing that scares me: I don't want Salah or JD or any of them to go. Stay the course. That's the only thing that scares me. Okay, if this season, if there's a miracle, we win the next two and we got some kind of shot, yeah, does Rodgers come back? Yeah, whatever. Okay, it's 1 week at a time. Okay, or if this season does implode and then ends, I still want them to stay the course. And they always bring up Woody, who to me, Chris Johnson is the one who made all these great moves, these gutsy moves to get JD and Salah. He created that,
Yeah,
So
but
I
you know
just
what their record is together? 15 and 30. So when you really put it together, what the fuck is it? It's shit.
yeah. But
I
the
mean,
thing,
honestly, it's shit.
no,
But that's
I
my point. Like I
realize.
said
Well,
at the
first of
beginning.
all,
Like I said at the beginning,
I know the first
right
year,
there.
first
Yeah.
year was a rebuild, and I got to tell you, somewhat the second year was somewhat of a rebuild.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying what you
I
said is that a
don't
lot of
want
people are going to
to.
say that Salah should go, JD should go, they both should go, or they should both stay. You can make an argument for all of that now. I love Salah. I think he should stay, and I think JD should stay because he made some bad mistakes, but he also got Jermaine Johnson. He did, but I mean, I believe Salah had a lot to do with the defensive picks. So I think he's influenced JD as well on that. But they whiffed on Becton. What are you going to do? But Tippmann looks great. What the fuck? Here's a
This
sub.
Barrett Tucker, do I need Barrett Tucker to be going down every minute? I mean, Tomlinson is playing a lot better this year. This is the guy they picked up, but it sucks. Their tackle positions have been, decimated. But what are you
Look,
going to?
bottom line, when they picked him at number 2, they thought they had something that we didn't think. I didn't think. Then last year, and then now, when Kansas City, when he in front of the whole fucking world with Taylor Swift there threw 2 touchdowns, he looked like he arrived, man. That was
Yeah.
so early in this season. That was a horrible thing for us because it's like you said last year with Pittsburgh. You figured he was good, and then he imploded again. Here he is with KC, and then he imploded again. Because listen, Philly,
Maybe
when they scored 1 touchdown,
that,
they let Brees Hall score. They let
right.
him score.
No, but what I'm
They
saying is
don't score that touchdown otherwise.
right, but with Kansas City, then he played well against Denver. He played well against the Eagles, and he survived the Giant game. So now we have 4 games in a row.
Yeah, but Denver, but if you really dissect, you're right. You're 100% right. But if we dissect it, the Denver game, they were in disarray. Look at Denver now. You're not going to beat Denver now. They'll kill you now because that offense is much better than it was. And Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson again because Hackett's away from him. That's the one thing that's for sure. Hackett is shit. He's so much worse than even his father was. He is. He's terrible.
Here's where I have a problem with that. Just blatantly say that. First of all, Denver's this, Denver's that. Right now, Denver's 5-5. They're 5-5, dude.
5-6, aren't they?
No, they're 5-5. They're okay. They're 5-5. Okay, so Hackett's the worst coach in the world. They've played very winnable games, So let's see what happens when they have a few games where the competition ratchets up, and they're not going to do anything. They're not going anywhere.
I'm not saying they're gonna win the Super Bowl. Actually, the Broncos are 6-5.
Well, they're 6-5, yeah.
6-5. And the Chiefs are 8-3, and the Raiders are 5-7, and the Chargers are 4-7. The Broncos are a sleeper team all of a sudden because Russell Wilson's won before. Look, man, that's how fucked up this year is. It didn't take much. If Rodgers was there, they'd be 7-4, and we'd be talking about the Super Bowl. It's because the quarterback play sucked ass this year, and it's inexcusable because think about it. You're right. If you're going to tell me when they went and got Rodgers that Zach is going to get the red shirt year, he's going to learn, he's going to watch, he's going to have the little clipboard and take notes and learn from Aaron Rodgers, then you know what? He's your number 3. Deactivate him. He watches on the sidelines and go out and get a real. Get a Jacoby Brissett. Get a Carson Wentz. Get a real quarterback to back up Rodgers instead of Zach Wilson. They didn't do that. They gambled, and he fucked up. And that's, to me, the biggest sin with Joe Douglas is that he did not take that. And when he went down in week 1, all right, they won the game, great. The Cowboys, they got blasted, okay? Then they played the Chiefs. Oh my God. Okay. But then after that, what was the next game that
Well, after
after
that, Denver, and then after that, they beat the Eagles.
the Denver game, he wasn't that great either in that. But
No, he got it. Listen, let me tell you, he got it done, and there were a lot of penalties that weren't on him. But what I'm saying
the
is,
Eagle game, they
but
scored, they won 20-13, and that last touchdown they gave him. The
no,
Eagles,
I know they gave it. But listen, that's a great defense. And again, they had a lot of drives, and they're still doing it. Even with Boyle, they have a lot of drives where they get inside the 30 and they just shoot themselves. I know you don't like that expression, but they just keep getting these horrible penalties.
but you know what? The penalties have been because they can't execute. And if they execute well and score and there's a penalty, that means they didn't do it, because it wouldn't have happened if the penalty wasn't there. You know, if you let the guy go instead of holding him, he's going to break the play up.
Well, no,
So I
like
don't-
penalties where like Zard hitting that guy, he had nothing to do with the play. A lot of those penalties had nothing to do with the play. Like it's on the other side, and they're
Yeah.
doing these. It's not even on offensive linemen. You hear like, oh, this receiver moved, or this running back did this. Breece Hall, full of bullshit. You know how many passes that guy has dropped. And then there was one throw where he was throwing to Garrett Wilson, and it would have been a complete pass, and Breece Hall got in the way. He wasn't where he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, but the bottom line,
we get here and where do we go?
the quarterback was held on to way, way too long. And good organizations, the example you have to use is Trey Lance. They picked that kid pretty high, right? He comes to the 49ers. If we had gotten Trey Lance, it'd be like, well, the kid's this in practice, the kid's this in practice. We're going to give it so many years, and what do you do?
What does the Niner organization do?
Out.
You're out, man. You suck ass. We're going to go with Brock Purdy. It's
That's
just
what I don't like about it's a little bit of the old Jets when Silas said last year, it doesn't matter a quarterback when he's drafted. Well, that's a blatant fucking lie. Because if you didn't care what someone was drafted, you would have really spent more time on Mike White. I'm sorry. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding that Miami gave him a pretty good contract to be a backup, because they saw what all Jets fans saw: a very capable quarterback who moved the team and moved the sticks. Something Zach Wilson can never do consistently.
Right. And you know what, Vinny? Robert Saleh has a Super Bowl ring, right? He was on the sidelines with the Niners when they lost. He was with the Seahawks. I think the guy is a great, great defensive coach. They are destroying him as a head coach. And what'll happen is, if this continues and they blow him out, he'll get a job in 4 seconds, and he'll go to the right environment, and he'll win a Super Bowl. It's terrible what's going to happen. He's not a Mangini or a Herm Edwards. This guy is the real deal. And
they're looking at 10 coaches. 10 at the end, when this year is over, 10 coaches are gone. It's going to be 10. And what's already one is gone already. The Panthers guy is gone. So it's going to be 10 coaches gone. And if they get rid of Saleh, before he walks out, before the door closes on the Jets drive, whatever, somebody will be like, come on our private jet. We want to hire you. That's how that would happen.
You're right. And half the guys on his team go with him because they know it's not him. But that's why I look at him and I go, he has no choice. They're telling him to say this shit because I don't think there was a little crack that Zach Wilson was more Joe Douglas's pick than Saleh's. You read that, right? That it's kind of starting to show that maybe that wasn't, but he's a company guy. He's going to do it because all gas, no brake. Let's go. He's positive. He's going to keep going. He's building a culture. And now in one little play, when Rodgers went down, it snowballed into something where the Jet culture is back, bigger and better and worse than ever, because it doesn't really change. It doesn't. And you're looking at now a team that they have not been in the playoffs. You've heard this. You know all the stats. 13 years they haven't been in the playoffs is the longest in North American history of any pro team. We know that. 8 years they haven't had a fucking winning season. So it's not the coach's faults anymore. But you're like you had Adam Gase, you had all the, you go there and it's a failure zone because the way that they make these decisions, they, like you just said, they don't cut bait fast enough. If they cut bait with this guy last year, before the season was over, just released him and went with Mike White and said, we're going to go with you and signed him, right? They're not 4-7 this year. You said it. That's the guy you wanted under center, Mike White. I thought it was going to be the other guy, Carr, Any one of them is 1,000 times better than what happened this year. And you can't only blame Zach Wilson, but he is too slow. He doesn't develop. He's not fast enough. And with a poor offensive line, you got to be Brady-like. Boom, done. You got to be, like Marino used to be. Bring it done. You can't fuck around back there. And and like he doesn't, it's like Ken O'Brien used to stand there and get sacked. You can't. And Ken O'Brien had talent. Well, he wasn't great, but the problem here is they are looking undisciplined now. There's a lot of these penalties, and that's a reflection on the coaching staff a little. But they're also desperate. They're all
That's a reflection
fucked
of
up.
that's a reflection on holding on to a quarterback who's not an NFL caliber quarterback. That's the bottom line. There's enough of talent in that kid's arm where he can make some throws and get you some TDs and give you a little bit of hope.
Which guy?
Why have a quarterback? Everything else is magnified. The penalties get worse, plays get worse. Hackett gets ripped apart. I'm not going to rip Hackett apart because we know why he was there.
Not rip who apart? I mean,
I'm not ripping Hackett apart. We know why he's there. You know why he was sent there. It's not his fault. His fault. The darkness lasted 4 plays. They were trying to work together. And everybody can say play calling, this, that, and the other thing. You know what? The bottom line is, he's not good enough to be in the NFL. And I even get tired when you look at these sports shows and they talk about Stroud. They're comparing Stroud to Young on Carolina, right? Young was number 1, Stroud was 2, right? And Stroud, they lost the game. They lose games, but he lights it up a lot for Houston, right? Young, he's not horrible, but he's mediocre at best. But he's young,
Stroud?
Stroud's like they're both young.
Stroud is like a rock star. He's going to be so,
But what I'm saying is this: you hear someone talking. Well, in Houston, they're the program, and first of all, Houston before the good quarterback Stroud showed up was getting ripped apart. Okay, they were horrible. Okay, so now Stroud shows up, and the way Carolina handles Young, I'm getting tired of this fucking shit. Maybe a guy is good, and maybe a guy isn't good, or maybe a guy needs a longer time to learn. Like I'm talking about maybe a year. What I'm saying is maybe if Stroud was on Carolina, he'll probably be doing the same shit.
Yeah.
And you're saying how good Carolina is, or how good the coaches on Carolina is, and how this and this and this. I'm so tired that everybody acts like, you know what? Listen, Purdy comes in. San Francisco is the place to be. They developed him. He does well. But let me tell you something. You can't create a really good quarterback with those intangibles. You know what I'm saying? You think if Zach Wilson was on San Francisco, he would have been doing what Purdy? No, not in a million years. So it just comes down to eventually, if it's going to be Rodgers, a little bit of him this year. I don't know, bullshit, whatever's going on. Do you start all over next year? You know what I'm saying? Do you almost like the way it ended with Testaverde getting hurt and Parcells leaving? Maybe we learn from that and we just keep it going and you start over.
Well,
I just don't want it to implode because then who are you going to bring in? What coach is out there that's going to come in?
Nobody. It's a joke. Forget it. Oh, we forgot one game in the middle there. This is what I was talking about. I knew there was something wrong. I just looked. They beat the Bills. They got destroyed by the Cowboys. But before that wonderful Chiefs game, there was the pathetic Patriot game where Zach showed us right after the Chiefs game that he fails immediately. Okay. That game, they lost 15-10, right? The ineptitude in that game was back to norm. And that was horrible. And then after that, they, like you said, they did well with the Chiefs. They beat the Broncos and the Eagles, they escaped. And then they had the break. You had 2 chances if you're Joe Douglas. 3 chances this year because you were all in with Rodgers, and I got no problem with that. If that was your choice, great. You also said Zach is not your guy. I don't like the way they did that. He shouldn't have been the backup. He should be the number 3. So he should have got a number 2. Didn't do it to start the season. The very first day when I was at your house, when he went down, they should have scrambled and found a guy like Wentz or Brissett to at least be on the fucking sidelines instead of, Boyle. You have a guy then that, we did the numbers. You look at how many touchdowns per career game. They all have 1 or 1.2. Zach Wilson is 0.6. He can't do it. So he showed us in the game after the Cowboys game when they got destroyed that the Patriots game, he was done. He was terrible. So he had 2 crap ass games in a row after they got lucky. Don't forget, they got lucky with Gibson running that back to win against Buffalo, and Buffalo looked terrible. The defense was like the Bears that first couple of games. It was unbelievable, that defense. By the time you got to the Patriots game, if you're Joe Douglas, you say, oh my God, there's nothing. I got to fucking bite the bullet. And I didn't do it in the offseason. I didn't do it after game 1. I got to do it now before the Chiefs game. He has a good game, and they're like, hey, he's arrived. He's good again. Like you said last year with Pittsburgh. You gambled again on this kid, and you got suckered yet again. You came up snake eyes fucking yet again, right? And then you go into the Eagle game, and you get lucky, and you win that, and then you have a week off. You still don't do it. He had 4 chances early this year. They were 3-3 at the break. Then, if he had changed it then, not even replaced Wilson, but got Carson Wentz in there, somebody that at least has real experience, Brissett, name them. This guy Dobbs, even for shit's sake. There's so many guys that didn't have a job that would have done better, and he didn't bite, not one, because he was obstinate, Douglas. And it's not Saleh, it's Douglas. He said, no, look, what he did with the Chiefs, the kid's going to be good. Then what happens? Go to the Giant game? They should have lost that fucking game. There's no way they win that game. He threw those 2 plays because the Giants defense is garbage. Give him the credit. He marched them down the field, and he, but you're an NFL quarterback. What do you want? What would Brady have done there? No problem. I don't want to give him, throw roses at his feet for doing something that he's supposed to know how to do. And his 3rd year in the league, give me a break. So then they get to the Charger game, and they're still only 4 and you're 4-3 by the time
he truly came back.
Last time we talked, 4-3. We sat here and said, if they win, you said if they win just 2, and we're 6-5, we're good. I said I think they need to win 3, Van, like an asshole, right? And they're going to be 7-5 and be looking good, right? 7 and what did I say? They were going to win 3 out of 4. They would have been 7-4, right? And we said to each other, well, they're going to probably lose all 4, and then what? Well, here we are. They lost all 4, and you got to say to yourself as a Jet fan, are they going to win another fucking game this year? And I'm with you. Yes, they're going to win Atlanta. I'm all in. They're gonna be. It's all dialed in. The defense is going to go after a lesser quarterback, and they got Boyle, Ash Boyle, whatever. There, let's go. And maybe they'll win a game, a small 13-10 game, and we're gonna we're gonna win the Super Bowl game. They need to go in and dominate a game or 2. Then the second game at home against Houston, that might be because that team's good now. That's the team that'll end it for us, because they can't lose 1. And if you come into Miami, that game, which I said the one after Christmas Eve, turned out to be the one that Rodgers is planning to come back. If they win these next 2, he needs to be in Miami. He does. Why? In Miami, it's sunny, nice and easy. You're not playing in cold, the turf. Get your fucking ass out there, Aaron, and go win the fucking game. And if they win 3 in a row, if they win these 2, right, somehow, and they're 6-7, like you just said, which is possible. I don't see them beating Houston, though. I don't see how. But if some by luck they do.
Houston lost a couple of days ago at home. They lost the game at home.
but they're looking better and better each.
No. He's good, but I'm just saying they lost the game at home, so they're like any other team, but they're beatable.
Vinny, the
Okay,
defense on
so
the Jets, you say it all the time. What do you expect from them? Before this, we didn't even talk about the Miami game, but think about it. By the last drive, where they had like a 15-play drive, they were out. The plays were like 56-23 or something. That defense is like, fuck this already. I'm out of here. So
yeah.
now they come back, they come back together, and if they play a lesser opponent and they shut them out and they win 6-0 or something, that's fine at this point. You need to score on defense, which they did last week. Jesus Christ, they had a pick six and turnovers, and they still got destroyed. What the hell is this?
And it's always that little bad little feeling, like in the Charger game. You kind of saw the first couple of drives. It's like, oh, Zach is kind of looking like Zach. Okay, it's still early, and then they got a punt return for a TD, and you just had that feeling. Even when they got that pick six, and our kicker was unbelievable, and he just misses that extra point. It's not 10-7, it's 10-6. Seems like a mile apart.
You're
You know
right.
what?
It is.
A
That's
mile
that's
apart.
oh God, what the fuck? Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
yeah, you kind of like
That's the becoming a Jet moment that we all
really.
talked about forever.
You figure
Now you've become a Jet, and you're
that
shitting.
you figure that's a Jet moment, but then no, they intercept the ball with 2 seconds to go. And I know that I heard that people criticizing Boyle that it didn't reach the end zone. For the love of God, it reached the 1 yard line. But here's the thing: if you look at that play, by the way,
Somebody make a tackle. Give me a break.
nobody, none of the receivers were near where the ball was thrown. Aren't you supposed to be looking up? You're supposed to be, by the time you reach the 5 yard line, right? And you're heading toward the goal line,
Come back
and
for the ball. Right.
you have to be looking for the ball. Did you notice when that guy caught the ball?
That's a great
There
point,
wasn't
Vinny. That
one
is,
Jets receiver near him.
stop and say that again, because that's the most important point of this game. What you just said. Say it again. At that Hail Mary,
Yeah. Well, and they were
where were our
criticizing.
receivers? What were they thinking?
And okay, it didn't. I kept hearing. I had ESPN on, and all of a sudden I was like, yeah. They started talking about how did the coach not know that he could reach the goal? What do you mean? He threw it up. He put a big rainbow, so it was going to be the 1 yard line. All right.
It
Well,
was the game okay because you need the touchdown. You don't have to have the touchdown. You need to get the ball. So it's halftime.
well, maybe listen. Maybe it would have been tipped. Whatever. What I'm saying is, when you see that ball come down, there is not even one Jets receiver looking up. You're supposed to. I'm not a coach, but when you get to that, you're running. When you get to the 5 yard line, now you start turning around as you're heading toward the goal to see where the ball is, because you got to figure by that time it has to be up in the air, and it was. And where were all the Jets wide receivers?
But you see, now you touched into the most important point of all of this. Cobb, Lazard, right? All of Aaron's boys suck, right? They suck. Billy Turner sucks. All these guys that he is telling them what they need to do, he's wrong. He is not a GM. Fuck him, stay out of it. Because if they had kept or gone after another wide receiver, go get Beckham. Look at Odell Beckham Jr. this year. Why didn't they get him? He's awesome. Look what he's doing, and he's winning.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like all these little things that happen to the Jets. Now, as good as the things are, as good as everything with Rodgers, and it was such a feel-good story. Oh, wait, what? What? Corey Davis? What?
Yeah, what the fuck? Right.
You looked at the wide receiver room. Wow, there's too many wide receivers to throw to. How's he going to get the ball to all these guys, Rodgers and everything? And Lazard with his 800 yards, 6 TDs, which they're feeling he's going to get better and better. And I guess that's fine that you're going to think that, right? But what I'm saying is, all of a sudden, like, the Jets, it's like, that must happen to other teams. But I'm like, I was kind of excited thinking Corey Davis and Aaron Rodgers. And oh no, he's
Garrett Wilson. Look, man, you had Garrett Wilson and 3 or 4 other guys that you were like feeling good about it. Well, O-line and receivers suck now with the Jets. Garbage. Gibson Gibson's a
What's
good
happening?
man, but he's not going to front. Berrios, look at Berrios on the Dolphins. If they just kept him and Mike White, you would have had Mike White, Berrios, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, and you'd be in great shape. You wouldn't even need Aaron Rodgers. You wouldn't be 4-7. Sorry, you wouldn't be. So Berrios was a better receiver than anybody they got. He was. Think about how that guy would get open. Look at him. He runs the ball back 30 yards every time on a kickoff. What's wrong with that guy that they couldn't keep him? No, they got Mecole Hardman, who went back to Kansas City. He sucks. He's nothing. He's finished. He's a bum. And then these other guys, these walk-ons, Gibson and Brownlee, God bless him. But that's not how you need a proven guy like Garrett Wilson if you got Aaron Rodgers and you want to win now. He wanted Lazard. You're an asshole. Lazard sucks. Sorry.
That's what makes me feel a little bit about, as much as I say I do, I still like JD and Salah. Beginning of the year, Corey Davis. Oh, he needs time. Okay, I get it. I hope the man's okay. Things should be. It doesn't mean just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you're good. Everything's great every second of the day.
Yeah, he's got issues. Yeah.
Corey Davis is gone, and all of a sudden Hardman. Maybe it would have obviously if Hardman was, it would have been different with Rodgers. Let's listen. But then, okay, Hardman's gone. There was nothing you could have done with that kid with all that speed and all that talent.
And you didn't replace him. How about you would have replaced him with somebody that makes sense? Don't tell me Irv Charles or Brownlee and Gibson. All three. What are these guys? They're nothing. None of them on the team last year. Look at the depth.
But now Michael Carter's gone. Carter's gone.
Oh, he was no good. Why? Right. Good point.
So there's a lot of these little things. Listen, a lot of players came to the Jets because of Salah. When they hired Salah, everything changed in terms of players wanting to be there. Now, there's one thing for players to want to be there. And listen, their first year draft, the first one, you don't even want, right. It turned out to be kind of almost a disaster, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But now,
was that the same year with Michael Carter? Because he's gone now, so
yeah, that was Elijah Moore. That was Hall, the punter.
That was the second year. Okay.
Oh, that was the second year,
wasn't it? 2021. Well, he's had 20, 21, and 22. 22. Did he have 4 drafts or 3? Well, let's see. I know his first pick overall was Becton. Let me double check. I get confused.
Well, the only thing is, remember, he came on board after the draft with the previous GM. Remember, after the draft, Chris Johnson got rid of him. So
2020 was his first draft.
Yeah.
2021, this is his 4th draft. And I think Michael Carter was the second year. So if you want to go up and down the list and you look at their drafts, other than the last 1 or 2, it's a big bust out too. Denzel Mims, what happened to him? Right? They got a couple of guys, Jordan White.
Elijah Moore.
What happened? They had a receiver there. They blew him out because he was negative. Now, fuck you. If the guy can play, where is he? They could have used him instead of Gibson. I keep making fun of him, but the guy is not Jerry Rice, for Christ's sake, And poor Garrett.
When you think about it, listen, the end. Here's the end of it. Just to finalize it in my eyes, I think the best thing to do. I just hope they stay the course. Because if we start all over, we're done for like at least 5 years. It's going to be useless. So,
listen, like I said before, without a real quarterback, Salah's 15-30, right? Isn't that what it is? Something horrible, 15, something like that. They win nothing. Belichick without Brady is horrible. He's under 500. So don't tell me it's his fault. It is his fault because some of it he's got no say, and the other is because they put a situation that they're forced on him all along. And he's a good leader and a good guy because he's not going to throw his quarterback under the bus. But this kid has done so much damage to this team. He's the 3rd string quarterback halfway, 3/4 of the way through the season in his 3rd year after 3 chances, and he can't get it done. And I look, this week they got Becton back. They got Brown back. They got this and that. If they don't open holes and Brees Hall and these guys start, they at least run the ball. Get a couple of running touchdowns at least this week. And if you do that, you can't really blame Boyle if he doesn't throw a couple, but maybe he will. Give the guy a chance. But that could have been Mike White. So I don't want to hear it. You brought Boyle here because of Rodgers. You brought Lazard and Cobb. That could have been White, Berrios, and somebody else. So JD, you just let Rodgers tell you what to do. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. Fuck you. What has he done for me? I don't care about Aaron Rodgers. He's done zero, except come on the field,
I can have a.
and it was wonderful, and then he's gone.
I'm not gonna.
And when it starts to unravel, he's only going to take care of himself. You watch. It's going to be.
But the whole thing is, to me, it's like, did he force him to bring Boyle? Was called. Who knows what's said behind closed doors. End of the day, they messed up on the quarterback royally. But my thing is, let's move forward. Pittsburgh, which has been a great organization, how many coaches have they had in the last 3 decades? 2. Because they let it grow, and then, what, they're going to get rid of Tomlin and get Hook. That's going to be better than him. Even though when it comes down to it just comes down to, listen, everybody talks about how great, what's his name, the coach of Kansas City, Reed. Oh, he's great. There's no Mahomes. There's no great. Let's stop the bullshit, right?
With the Eagles too, though.
And the coach who was with Tampa Bay. Oh, he's great. Oh, look, he won a Super Bowl. Yeah, okay. He was smart enough to bail after that. I think,
Right.
knowing that, okay, I got my Super Bowl.
Right? No, right. I don't remember anymore. I'm done. Listen, here's my point.
The whole thing is, but when you know this, when you're a good GM and you're a good coach, and you know what the reality is of having a good quarterback, and you bring one in, like you said, he's a reclamation project. He should not have been number 2.
No.
So I'm hoping, listen, Jets fans out there, Jet Nation, I'm hoping for 6 and 7. I'm not giving up the fight, though. No. I'm not giving up. I have friends text me about that return, on a Hail Mary. Well, you know what?
Okay. It's all right.
What do you want me to do?
You and me sitting next to each other for the fake spot. There's nothing worse than that. It's all horrible. Whatever. It's not. It was ridiculous. But this year, where so much has gone wrong, it's like, okay, it's almost comical. You're like, really? No one's going to get him. And then to see Garrett Wilson finally come, the only guy going all the way from the other end zone, at least he busted his ass down there to try to get him. Give him a. But you know what it is? I got to ask you this: if they keep it as it is next year, now look, Rodgers didn't play, so they keep their 2nd round pick, right? They got their first round pick, right? Next year.
Yeah.
And they pick a quarterback. You're going to let JD pick another quarterback? You tell me, Vin.
There's got to be good.
That's why he might get whacked.
There's got to be a good quarterback, a scout. Please, just tell me there's a scout in the foundation of the Jets who knows how to find a good quarterback, because it doesn't seem to be JD. And but I want to give you something one more time before we go.
The guy, like we said, there's a backup for him next year, a real backup, and release Zach Wilson, start over, beef up the line. You're gonna have
Zach Wilson has to be gone. I don't care what's happening with the season, good, bad, or ugly. Zach Wilson has to be gone before the season's over. End of story. But when we're Jets 55, I'm going to give you a good one. We talk about this Hail Mary, and you hear the butt fumble, and you hear the fake spike, and it's funny. Our history never works out. What I mean for that is, I have to explain to some of my Giant fans when they talk about that Bisaccia handoff, that lost the game.
Yeah,
and horrible loss, right? And I'm talking to Giant fans, and they still talk about it decades later how horrible it was. I'm like, what are you, moron? What don't you get? You got Parcells because of that.
Yeah.
Because of that horrible game. And then when they had Shockey, throw me the ball. and Eli Manning didn't know what to do out there with Shockey, and even the coach didn't know. Conklin didn't know what to do with Shockey. He was making a mess of everything, and then he's out for the season. They win a Super Bowl. Our badness never results in anything good. But I'm going to give you something. We're Jets 55. I'm going to see if you remember this one. Do you remember another game at home against the Baltimore Ravens with Reed? A game at the end of the half, we were winning pretty handily. Do you remember what happened? I remember.
Vinny Testaverde got strip sacked Christmas
No,
Eve.
it's almost the end of the second of the first half, right? The Jets and the Ravens are a pretty good team. They have Reed, right? And we're going to kick a long field goal, right? We're going to try for a long field goal. And then that's how the half is going to end. Either we're going to make the field goal or we're not going to make the field goal. And who is standing on the goal line?
Yeah.
Reed.
Yeah.
Safety Reed. He's standing on a goal line, right?
Right.
It's a great crowd. It's a great game. We're doing really well. So for all you folks who watch Jets 55, we know it all. So the guy goes to kick the field goal, right? Not even close. Reed catches it, runs it back for a TD. No one can tackle this guy. Runs it back for a TD. And we all sat there. Remember, we sat there halftime? We just sat there like,
what the hell?
We just sat there. And we knew what was going to happen in the second half. And what happened in the second half? Done, wiped out. So I've seen too much of this where for us on Jets 55, and I know for you too, we're numb. It's more a numbness now.
Just go with it. And you know what, Vinny? You just brought up another thing that I wanted to bring up. If you're 23 years old, you remember when you were a kid that they went to 2 championship games in a row. You also remember all the shit after that. But that was a high moment. Add 40 years of that on top. And that's how long it's been. If you're 23 or older, that's how long as it's been bad to be a Jet fan. It's forever. It's not like there's no other team that you could. I mean, it's maybe the Browns, maybe like I say, the Lions. They haven't been to the Super Bowl, but the Lions, they've made the playoffs in the last 13 years. I mean, really,
Well, I will give you one team. I will give you one team that for them to be a fan is more madness than the Jets. When you have Dan Fouts, Dan Fouts, Drew Brees, Phillip, and Herbert, 4 quarterbacks that just light it up. For decades, you've had quarterbacks light it up.
Yeah.
And now, even in a quarterback-driven league, you never made it to a Super Bowl.
Chargers are the only other horrible. Yes, absolutely. They are. When they had Schottenheimer and Sayah, when Jets beat him, we were at that game out here, right?
Yeah.
The playoff. Oh my God, that was just LaDainian Tomlinson. Jesus Christ, that team is about as disappointing as we are, but it's still not yet, not as much, because you have that hope. You had that young quarterback year after year. You had Sayah. You had that. Hey, it's going to happen. You win a few games, you make the playoffs with us.
Listen, we need things to change for the Jets and Mets because we had said it. 1999. Okay, think about this. 1999. You're standing next to a Red Sox fan and a Patriot fan, and you're a Jets fan and a Mets fan. You know what? 1999, you're feeling much better than them, right? Of course, you won it in 86. That next year you wind up going to the World. That's a year in the future. You go to the World Series, but what are the Patriots done?
Team on the rise. You had Piazza. Yeah, it was good.
They lost. They got destroyed in one Super Bowl. They lost another Super Bowl, so they're 0-2 in Super Bowls. The Patriots. You're 1-0 in Super Bowls, even though it's 1999. Your Mets have 13 years ago won a World Series. Red Sox, it was how long ago? And look what happens in the next 20 years.
Then. Again, I was going to say in the beginning, you can't write this, you can't make it up, and all that shit. But
that's why
you said it. Whatever your feeling is, you're right. You can make any argument for keeping leaving, getting rid of this guy, keeping that guy. They should have done this. They should have signed. Even Minshew is better than what they got. Anybody, anybody.
Anybody.
No plan. You can't tell me it's acceptable to not have that backup plan. It's just not. And if Douglas sits there and tries to rationalize it, fuck him. Who are you? You're here. You know what I mean?
I'd rather them come clean and say, listen, we messed up. It's never going to happen again. Let's move forward. And I wash my hands of it. I thought I would see one day Douglas come on and say, listen, this is on me. It's not on coach. This one's on me. I wish he would have the balls
And
to
if
do
they
it.
say we all have to get better, it's bullshit.
No. Just admit that it was, listen.
Garrett Wilson doesn't need to get better. He needs a quarterback who could throw the fucking ball to him because he's so punch drunk now. That defense doesn't need to get better. It's like it's your quarterback and the poor choice of receivers you have, shit receivers except for one. Nothing. There's nothing there. Just Garrett Wilson. And your own line is a work in progress at best. Joe Tippett is the winner. But,
With Brownlee, not with Brownlee, with Boyle, you didn't have the chance. The announcers weren't even getting what was happening. If you notice what was happening, when you saw they started bringing out Brownlee and they started bringing out the other guy from Green Bay, but I like him. Gibson and no, the other guy they got from another receiver from Green Bay. They were out, Mayers. They were out there. Myers, what his name is. We're terrible with this. Oh, this is why we're old men.
Which guy?
They got him from Green Bay. The wide receiver for the Jets. They got him from Green Bay.
Lazard.
No. There was another one that was on Green Bay. No, there's another one after him too. But by the way, all these receivers were out.
Charles or something?
All these receivers were out there. All these receivers were out there. No, I'm saying but there was no time to really. These announcers weren't like looking at it and seeing all the different receivers. They were throwing them out there. They were giving them their shot. And it was like they just didn't have enough. They didn't bring it up. No. And then before they brought it up, there was the next thing you know, the half is over. There's the Hail Mary, and we're all done.
We were in trouble on the first fucking play when Quinton Williams blasts in there. They have a 5-yard loss. And there's a penalty flag, some idiot. I don't know if it was Clemens or
I know.
They're too undisciplined and wild. And that's on Saleh too and Ulbrich, because you got to give them a pass because they're trying to, kill, because they have the violence and all of that. But if the offense would just have done their share this year, it would all be fine. It's just not working. It's unbelievable this year. And
Right. So what you're saying is it's always those little things that really kill us and that make it so hard that I know what you're saying. I get it.
Charles, Gibson, Lazard. It's got to be this guy Charles. Is that who you're talking about?
No, he was the guy. What was his name? I love this. Edit it out. He was the one where there was a bomb thrown at him. And he made a nice catch and everything.
That's that guy Charles, right? Or was it Brownlee?
No, it's not. It was another guy. One day I'll figure it out.
I think it's Irv Charles. Here's what they got. They got Wilson and Cobb, Gibson, Lazard, and that's it right now. Just 4 receivers. 6, I'm sorry. And then, and Gibson. Wilson, Cobb, Brownlee, Charles, and Gibson. That's the receivers.
That's on the depth chart.
And they're all shit. They're all nothing except Garrett Wilson and Jeremy Ruckett.
For me, being a Jets fan, maybe it was a ghost. He didn't exist.
Thing. All we could say is you and I used to say one thing when who's the guy that was paralyzed? Dennis Byrd, Jeff Lagerman. In those years, we used to say just get us to December, when football still counts. Well, December is Friday and Sunday, the game theoretically still counts. So I guess what do we have to complain about? What the fuck? December. I'll never forget one year they had 5 games in September, right? And they were like it was over already. It's like They were like 1-4. It's like season's done. It's not even October. I used to say, just get us into. We'll be in December. It's still alive. But
It
the
just
bottom
seems like
line,
anytime for the Jets when things are supposed to be good, for the most part, Jimmy the Greek, Jets are going to win the Super Bowl.
yeah, right.
3-11, 3-11.
So
It's like
they're number 15 out of 16 right now. They are only the Patriots are in worse shape. But the tiebreakers, the Jets are number 15 right now. So they're like the Mets last year, where they're not eliminated yet. They just have to, get over 6 teams to get to that third wild card. If you win Sunday, you stay alive somehow if they do that, which they should. But then you have to win the next week to, in my eyes, force fucking Rodgers to put up or shut up. Come back to Miami. Don't come back for fucking, the next game, on the road against the Commanders or some shit. Some easy game. Go play in Miami. Let's go, But he won't come back. He'll come back just to prove he's some kind of superhuman. They all say that as he's as a human being. Like, where did they come up with this? Like, what are we, different species that we're talking about all the time? It's like, he's great as a human. It's like, not as a football player, but as a human. I hear Salah say that, and an asshole says that. And, it's like, what are we talking about here? You're a good human. All he wants to do is argue with Kelsey about vaccines. Kelsey's got Super Bowls galore in the last 5 years. Shut the fuck up. You're an asshole. You're going to go debate with Robert Kennedy about, who cares about foul? What's wrong with this guy? That's all he's got going is this nonsense? I don't care about Rodgers. He could go to hell at this point.
I just didn't care. I needed that guy on the football field to be Aaron Rodgers. That's all I cared.
Right. Just shut up and play. That's it.
I didn't care about darkness. I didn't care about light. I didn't
Thank
care
you,
how beautiful he is.
I went along with it. I went along with it too. I'm like, okay, he's ayahuasca man. That's great. That's okay by me. You know what you're talking to here. I'm good. But remember, you've played 4 plays for the Jets. Don't talk to me about the Jets. You know how many plays we have been involved with as in 56 years?
I'm giving you 5-6 plays that are etched in my mind and I still remember them. Okay. Like I said, that would have happened with Reed, just the wound is still the same as what happened in Miami. Yeah, for me.
We had some good moments, the 51-45 overtime victory with Wesley Walker, sitting there in Giant Stadium. There were some good moments, but they're always negated by the fail, the mud balls and the whatever. But
I'm going to end it with this. I'm keeping a hope. 6-7, Rodgers come back, and we win the Super Bowl.
You know what, Vin? Just get to 5-7, then we'll talk. Because if they lose this one, there's nothing to talk about. We could talk, but don't. There's no hope. It's over.
Every game right now, pretty much. We've been saying it, but now this is truly palatable. Every game is a playoff game now.
You're not making it in at 9-8 with 900 teams are right there with you that you already lost to. You lost to the Chargers. You lost to the Raiders. And the Broncos are fucking 6-5. 6-5. That they were making fun of Sean Payton. You know what? He was right. He was right. Because Hackett, we didn't get into this too much, has no creativity. Move this kid out of the pocket. Like you saw, what's his name last night? Justin Fields. Moves around a little bit. Move. Throw the ball. Find somebody. Find it. He stands there waiting to get sacked. Ridiculous. He has no, I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. But
listen,
Rodgers is the perfect quarterback for him because Rodgers says, you're a great human, Mr. Hackett. I love you. You're my buddy. Your whole family of humans are fantastic, So
Hackett, great offensive coordinator. I'm going to be changing the plays a lot.
Yeah, you're a great human. You be a good human over there up in the stands. And I'm going to change it up and do what I want. And you could be a good human and you can go on my back.
What was that song? More human than a human man? Is that some kind of song? More human than a human man. More human.
Vinny, next time you hear one of them say, if you listen anymore, I don't want to listen anymore. But as a human, what do you mean we're all humans, you fucking idiots, It's like, they're like morons, and what's going on, as a human, and Rodgers thinks he's some philosopher because he's got opinions, and he was the host of Jeopardy, and we're supposed to kiss his ass. What did he win? That was Brett Favre's fucking team that he won the Super Bowl with. And I know he won his MVPs, he's great and all that, but shut up, man. You haven't done anything in 10 years that was, that you brought the team along on your back. You won MVPs, but you didn't win shit. You got to get it done. For us to think that, what right do we have to think we're going to win a Super Bowl, Vinny? Come on, get out of here with Aaron Rodgers. I don't care who it is. You could bring like that commercial, Dan Marino out of retirement, and we'd be better off than these guys. Emmitt Smith and Marino. They're like, we should be playing again. You saw that commercial, and they come out. I would take Dan Marino in a heartbeat right now. Or Brady.
If Dan Marino came out of retirement, I'd be excited. That's how.
Oh my God. Where's Testaverde? Let's bring him back. Dude, it's funny as hell. And like I said at the beginning, whatever you're feeling, it's all good. Anything's possible. But you have to get this win. You get this win, you live another week, and it's December now. So hooray! Felix wins.
Jets 55. Now you know that we're losing our minds.
Yes. But as humans, at least we have minds.
I wish as you were talking. I wish as you was talking. I wish I had an antenna coming up behind my head.
That'd be great. It's like Ed Norton saying,
Captain Video Range. All right. Well,
man.
We got to end it before they put us away.
I know. All right.
Let's go.
That. We'll see you next time. Hopefully 6-7, and Rodgers is going to come back and play in Miami. And he's going to surprise everyone and come back a week early instead of Christmas Eve. And he'll go to Miami and he'll get destroyed. And he'll get hurt again for the next year. No, it's kidding. We'll see. Anyway.
5-7. That's
stay cool out there.
Peace.